Hey, welcome back. Chapter 18, this is the Cuba Diaries. Day 1, Cuba, January 5th, 2013. You're not in Kansas anymore, Dorothy. For those not familiar with my trip, I've been contracted to be the set lighting designer for two concerts with Carlos Varela at the Teatro Nacional in Havana. Carlos is a famous Cuban singer, songwriter who's celebrating 30 years of performing. Great timing, because as of the writing, I was celebrating my 30th year in the business. I've shipped down about $60,000 worth of equipment, lighting console, media server, LEDs, cable, and 200 feet of black sheer drape that was rush made for me by Sari Vonzi at Curtain Call, and done over the holidays. Thanks, Sari. We're doing two concerts, one intimate with the audience on stage, and 3 days later, full concert. We have a lot of guest artists. I won't jinx them by naming them before they perform, so that's the mission statement. Let's get on the way with the madness of this trip. There's a lot to be said for waking up to a sunny day while my people are freezing at home. Looks like the weather will be perfect every day here. But as usual, I expect to spend all my time in a dark theater. We started the day with a large production meeting in our house. Our team includes Ron Chapman and Jack Lenz, producers and directors, Mark and Ed on camera, and Jeff, our sound man. We have a great group of local technicians and facilitators that we met this morning as well. So far we have 4 Carloses, and the other art director is also named Eric. After our meeting, which brought up as many questions as answers, the other Eric and I went to the theater for a fast scout of the venue. Big stage and auditorium with an awesome collection of real and counterfeit gear. One of my goals is to get pictures of all the knockoff gear. Now, the wiring in this country is sketchy at best, and some of the stage wiring is totally suspect. I won't be touching or focusing anything that has power to it. I've determined that the venue is loaded with 110 volt Edison, so at least my stuff will plug in. Soon I'll be able to put a meter on it and see what our voltage really is. My bet, 105. Now from the venue, we drove to Abdella Studios, one of the premier recording studios in Cuba. Carlos is rehearsing, the Carlos Varela artist, one of the 4 Carloses. He's in the space and the boys are out shooting interview footage. I spent some time with Carlos, but we have a language barrier, so I need to have an interpreter with me. Here's some of my first impressions of Cuba. The people are warm and friendly everywhere. It seems they can make the best of the situation. Emission controls are non-existent. Every vehicle spews smoke. The collection of vintage cars and bikes on the road is impressive. 1950s American sedans, lots of Chinese and Russian vehicles, and motorcycles of every size, shape, and quite frankly, state of repair. The architecture ranges from stunning design to communist cement block, usually right next to each other. Wrought iron bars cover every door. Not that there's many windows. In the tropics, you want the breeze running through. The coffee and cigarettes are top notch. So all I need is regular food and I'll be a happy camper. They put us up in a house which has all the comforts of home. Well, except for, TV, internet, food, and that sort of stuff. January 6th, setup day number 1. Whoa, Nelly. Things sure move at their own pace. Fortunately, we have a great crew. One of my guys speaks English, but the rest is very fast Spanish slang. A good thing we have the language of lighting. And my Google Translate cheat sheet. I translated 100 theater lighting terms, as well as colors and numbers, and I carried a little cheat sheet with me, so at least I could try to communicate as best I could in their language. Now, even though things get done slowly, we're not lacking for crew bodies. We must have had 60 people today. I saw some rigging so sketchy I had to walk away more than once because I just didn't want to see it. It appears that plugs and morettes are in very short supply. And most of the lights are just, bare wire twisted together and no electrical tape, no nothing. Just waiting to bite you. The locals were pretty blown away by my small and very outputty kit. I also brought down the clown lights, and since the texts refer to them as either garlands or festoons, and we just decided years ago to call them clown lights, in a loving reference to the clowns beneath the lights. The locals were confused at first, but they loved the name and the look. Now, when Carlos came in to have a look at what we had built at the end of the first day, our local fixer wanted me to explain why we called them clown lights. I froze and I started some other bullshit explanation. I didn't want to offend the artist and stuff, but they made me tell him. We had a good laugh, and then Carlos said it looked like a clown barfed on my shirt. So far, so good. January 7th, setup day number 2. We ran out of scotch, so we got some rum and cervezas last night. I got the Cuban fuzzy head this morning. Damn, that coffee really worked, though. Boy, oh boy, what a fog lifter. Now, we're continuing to focus and set up, and my guys are great, and they're really, really dedicated. They're pushing me faster than I need to go. Who would have thought that? Today, audio started their setup, so between them, staging, and us, we're just swarming around the stage, yelling at each other in Spanglish. We now all have Spanish names. I'm Enrique, Marco, Eduardo, and El Jefe on audio. Focus went well. Some lights are bright, some not so much, but we're making the magic. After work, we went to an Italian restaurant for an amazing meal. Almost all restaurants are in homes. There's no chains here, and all dining is kind of like dining in somebody's house. January 8th. Send in the clowns. Where to start on the madness? How about getting a set list 2 minutes to showtime? Or the set list was lies. Or we started 5 hours late. I don't have a camera monitor to preview any of the looks. Any of this would be slightly annoying, but, altogether it was a pretty challenging day. Carlos changed his set list, and as I don't speak Spanish, him calling audibles meant nothing to me. I had backdrops coming in and out without me calling them. That was a first. My saving grace was hanging with Jackson Browne, one of my all-time heroes. I can't tell you the number of times I've found solace in his landmark album, Running on Empty. Everything you ever wanted to know about the road in one album, recorded while they were on the road. From the dangers of cocaine to songs about truck drivers, lonesome journeys and missing your families to the ultimate ode to the crew, the loadout, stay. That album has been a pretty big part of my life. Now, he looks great for his age, and when he sang, I just closed my eyes and listened to that beautiful voice. And I brought down a side cover from my motorcycle, and I got a few more signatures on it for my collection. Now, Carlos's music is best described as folk rock, real singer-songwriter music. I'm really starting to enjoy his music. I'm a happy camper anytime I get to work with a string section. As all shows go, no matter how tough it was, sooner or later you get to leave the stage for the night. We all went back to our house and drank the pain away, while I entertained the crew with a selection of metal and hard-ass rock on the portable speakers. January 9th. Ready or not, we're rolling tape today. The show's supposed to be at 3, but I'm not feeling that. I came in early with my crew to make some changes and update some focus positions. We have a tent cafe on the corner of the parking lot with a good breeze and cheap beers, so we started the day out there. We made it a nap before the show, but that's not going to happen. But did I mention the women folk yet? They're stunning. And just because I'm on a diet doesn't mean I can't read the menu. By the way, I'm not on a diet. It's almost 5 o'clock. We have an audience in place, and my ass is getting sore from sitting behind the board on standby. I have a bet over cervezas with my crew that we won't start till 5:30. Another great saying in Cuba: time isn't 20. 5:10. Rolling tape. Looks like they owe the boys some 5:45. We stopped to retune the grand piano. It's an old Yamaha, and every time the gentleman solos, it just knocks itself out of tune. Looks like we're going to repeat that last song. It's going to be a long concert. Now, the band is awesome and the vocals are spot on. The string arrangements are excellent and really add a lot of drama. 9:25, finally done. Or not. Now we're going to reshoot 4 and add one more song. This is an endurance test for sure. My gaff, give a fuck factor, is dropping fast. We have to strike all this stage tonight. Tomorrow we turn it around for another concert on Saturday. 2:10 a.m. That's a wrap. January 10th. A nice early start after a long night. Now, no one told the Roosters we needed to sleep in. Damn cocks, they just do what they gotta do. I've hit the wall on ham and cheese Sammy's, and we've gone down to the old port for a wander and a real meal. Our local fixer, Carlos, another Carlos, he's the real deal. He knows his island and his people, and he's taken us to a courtyard in the old town. Earlier he told us that at least the ham we eat is real and not homemade ham. It's a great band name. This place is like the land that time forgot. There's a thin patina of dirt on everything and everything you touch. The ancient cars are all painted with whatever paint they can find and whatever method they can apply it with. There are backyard shops everywhere. They make their own brake pads. And if you can weld, you're a local hero. I gave Tim Horton's hat to my crew, and I'm now sporting the Red Star hat, very Che Guevara, or Rage Against the Machine. I found out from my crew they make $10 a month. I'm sure at the end of the show, I'm going to swag them out. I can get anything I need at home. They can't get jack shit. By the time we got to the theater, they had moved some set pieces around, added more risers, all in the wrong places. Well, big powwow to figure out a plan that'll work. And unfortunately, we have no lifts or ladders or any real rigging gear. So Eric 2.0 and I came up with a new plan based on what we could do safely, and we spent the next 4 hours building a new set and relighting it. And I threw a dozen safety cables into my pack at the last minute, and they're now holding up the set. Once again, proving the old adage, I'd rather be looking at it than looking for it. Crew not very happy with this, but it's got to get done right. Now, by the end, Carlos came in early to have a look at what we had done, and he was very pleased and didn't want any changes. And everybody kisses each other. Man, I've kissed more bearded, sweaty men in 5 days than I ever thought possible. Another long day comes to a close, but we head back to our casa to eat cold pizza and drain that bottle of Irish whiskey. January 11th. Feeling really good today. Got a proper night's sleep finally. Our house cleaner, Belle, turns 31 today. We all gave her $20 each as a gift and a thank you for cleaning up after us. We all tried to tell her about the birthday patty wax, but she wasn't having any of that. Back in to make some more changes and general cleanup. Ron wants to shoot some close-ups of the string section at 2, so we busted it out to be ready. Problem is, we need to know what backdrops frame the section, and we have no set list yet. That piece of information came in as the string section and cameras were ready at 5. I needed 1 hour to kind of make my plans, and I was given 2 minutes. My solution? Give them a black drape, lots of light, and they can fix it in post. I took my crew over to the tent, bought a round of beers. Got some more Cuban pesos and tipped everybody $20 each, and they were thrilled. I knew they were going to pound in a lot more hours, so this smoothed the way for the madness just around the corner. I finally sat down with Carlos and his production team to discuss what he wanted each song to look like and what scenery he wanted. With 29 songs and 8 guests, it's a lot of space to fill. We got as far as 20 songs with me driving the bus, and then it turned into a huge Spanish argument over song placement. Now at that point, I hadn't eaten in 8 hours and my blood sugar was dropping, so I bailed on the meeting and had another ham and cheese sandwich as we waited for dinner, which was mystery meat with rice and beans. Good thing we got the ham and cheese fallback plan. It's 10 p.m. and Carlos is still rehearsing with more guest artists. I'm building the scenes as we go and hope to hell I can put into some form of script I can call. My flyman doesn't speak English, but my Spanish and Cuban words are getting better every day. Mark has flown home to be with his wife for her 50th birthday. Tomorrow is Lori's birthday. No flying home for me. Enjoy the cards and the swag and the kids that I left you. My next concern is getting the hell out of here. My return flight is wrong, and I have no confirmation of the change. Midnight at the Oasis, that's a wrap. Cerveza time in the parking lot. January 12, it's the big, big show. We just eased into the day, Cuban style. Our locals took us out for breakfast. We had grilled ham and cheese sammies. You just can't escape them shits here. It's usually a safe bet, though. After that, back to the ranch for a siesta. Today's going to be a long day and we need our energy. First thing up is an interview with Jackson Brown. Now, he remembered my name, and he asked me if I was happy with the footage from the other night. I said that I was very happy with the looks, and complimented him on his performance, which was awesome. Now, there's a relationship I'd like to develop. I'm sitting behind the light board once again, waiting for the show, and as Jackson sang, we just pass the time in the hotel rooms and wander around backstage till those lights come up and we hear that sound, and we remember why we came. Well, there it was, gone! I lost track of time, but that was about a 3.5 hour long show, and my ass did fall asleep. I must say I flailed my way through that with the crew. Not my best show, but I'm sure the cameras loved it. The problem with being passionate is I'm always searching for the perfect show, and I probably get 1 in 10. I actually wrote that. I probably get 1 in 10. Feel free to add to the comments. Not that my opinion mattered. I heard many comments that it was the best looking show to ever happen in Cuba. We've heard from a variety of locals and government agencies, and this was a massive cultural event, and I'm proud to be part of it. There were many guest artists: Jackson Brown, Donna Fuentes, Ex Alfonso, Ivan Lins, and others. The All-Star Jam at the end had a lot of heavy guests too. I could tell by the reaction of the people in the lighting booth because they were yelling and clapping and losing their shit every time another performer walked on stage. Hey, speaking of my booth, a bathroom, AC, and we could smoke cigarettes during the show. Respect. So civilized. Now, we did our teardown quickly, and my 8 cases are in a truck, hopefully starting the journey home. There was a wrap party at the top floor filled with people, but I was so tired, and quite frankly, smelling like a pirate, that I made an appearance and bailed as soon as I could get out. Carlos was on a stage with a bunch of friends jamming away, and the truth is I'm not super crazy about Latin music when I'm tired. All the percussion, the mad piano, and non-stop vocals. I recognize great talent on stage, but it's not my cup of tea. I've never been able to find the changes in the music, so it all just grates on my nerves when I'm tired. Now, January 13th, here's our final day in Cuba. Nice late start to the day. Apparently the wrap party went till 7 a.m. Our locals came to take us for lunch, and that took all day. We lounged around a great place, ate like kings, and drank pots and pots of coffee. Back at our casa, we're checking our kits and packing. 5 a.m. pickup, 7 a.m. flight, so we have to be ready. I really enjoyed our local team. They've attended to our every need and been a real pleasure to be with. Some final observations on my Cuban adventure. Carlos Varela is an artist with real integrity, street cred. He never performed for Fidel or any government rally. He's walked a fine line through his career, never supporting Castro, but also not being a thorn in his side. He writes about the human condition and keeps the politics out of his music. I've become a fan. Great music. I'd love to work with him again. Working for Ron Chapman and Jack Lenz was a real pleasure. I'd love to do more work with them in the future. The production team of Mark, Ed, and El Jefe and I, well, we're a hella force to be reckoned with. The Cuban people are warm and friendly, and I was received with open arms by all, made some great friends. I look forward to my next visit here, which can't be soon enough. The U.S. embargo was supposed to isolate Cuba, but has had the opposite effect. It's the U.S. that isolated themselves from the rest of the world. And the rest of the world embraced Cuba. Just another country on this blue planet we call home. Now the government is making small changes slowly and watching what the changes do. As of this month, as of the writing, in 13, the Cuban people can travel the world freely without the need for complicated visas. My final swag list to the theater and crew. 2 flashlights, 2 Leathermans, various hand tools, lighting adapters, tape, zip ties, 100 light bulbs, 2 brand new black t-shirts, various hygiene products, lanyards, and fistfuls of pesos to all my lads. Great way to celebrate my 30th anniversary. This place is just off the hook, and it was an adventure I wanted and will never forget. Peace out. Epilogue, stuck in Havana. It seems our tickets were not changed in Canada, so Ed and I are stuck for another day. Good thing our minders were still at the airport with us. A flurry of phone calls starts, but we're not getting on that plane. They drive Ed and I back to the house to drop off our luggage, and we head down to the Melicon boardwalk to hang with the crew shooting interviews. That gets boring fast. So we head to the Cohiba Hotel for our first actual cheeseburger of the week. And it was fine. Back to the castle to get changed into shorts, and Ed and I go on an adventure now. We get dropped off downtown Havana. We cruise to the town on a drinking tour. 1 drink maximum, any location. We dined on patios, drank daiquiris with the statue of Hemingway, photographed all the old cars we could. And at the Capitol building, we found our ride for sunset. It was a 58 red convertible T-Bird, and we hired us to take us down the boardwalk and drop us at the International Hotel for mojitos on the patio. Well, we sat down next to 2 girls, both musicians that had just finished a 20-day tour. We sat telling road lies for 3 hours and drinking mojitos in the giant chairs until we just had to get in a cab and go to that Italian restaurant that we had loved so much. We ate and drank like the pharaohs until we couldn't eat and drink anymore. Then Ron called and said he was on his way for dinner too. And he picked up the check and drove us home to pack again for our 5 a.m. lobby call. Little Island, big surprises.